I am now currently at a solid 72 books read. And I'm like an hour left into an audiobook. So that'll be number 73 off the list. So I've technically have like 2 full books that I need to read between now and December 31st.
Yeah.
And I'm having people over at my place on the 31st. So I'll be like, hey, everybody come on in, grab some food, grab some drinks. I'm just gonna be over here finishing my book. Hopefully not, but
hopefully not. I mean, 3 days left. Like you're really close. I'm hopeful for you. Number 10 read was The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. First Lucy Foley vibes were it was just exciting and murderous. Very good. My number 9 is Making It So by Patrick Stewart. And who doesn't love Patrick Stewart? If you are a sci-fi fan, I did have that as audiobook, but I also have the book trophy over here somewhere behind me. So that's wonderful. And then I also, pardon?
I love a good book trophy.
Good. I know I have a book trophy. What I'll actually say is, Chris, I'm taking too long, but Chris bought that book with the intent that he would read it, and he never read it, and I listened to the audiobook. So now it is my book trophy, and I'm jealous, Val, that you saw Patrick Stewart in Montreal at Comic-Con. That's wonderful. Number 8, my number 8 book is Accidentally on Purpose, another memoir. That's Kristen Kish. You may know her from Top Chef. She is phenomenal. One of the hosts now. My number 7 is The Brothers Hawthorne. So that's part of that Jennifer Lynn Barnes series that I just absolutely adored. Yeah.
Based on my reco.
That was a good Katelyn recommendation. And then my number 6 book was An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. And that is like dark academia magic. Yeah. So that's kind of those are my bottom 5. Your turn. Over to you.
My number 10 was Saving Noah by Lucinda Berry. It was a very hard read. I cried. And it was a tough subject too, with some essay involved. So yeah, it was a tough read, but it was good. Number 9, The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters, which was a great book. Also
Who told you to read that book?
You and Audrey actually told me both.
I told you both. It was me. Come on.
Sorry. It was good. I liked it.
It was good.
Because I love a dual storyline. Love a dual storyline. The one by John Mars. I actually read a couple by John Mars. This was my first one, and it's just kind of like DNA matchmaking, like to an extreme gone wrong. Again, lots of different characters, but loved it. It moved really quick. So You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I got into Abby Jimenez this year, and I love her books. They're easy, they're cute, they're romantic. The banter between the characters is always solid. And this one involved a cute cat. Number 6 was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tantera. Really, this was kind of like a whodunit mystery, and it involved a podcast. And really, really enjoyed that one. And lots of didn't figure it out mid-plot or anything like that. So yeah, really, really good read.
Top 5 was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. That was my number 5 spot. You haven't read it?
Nope.
Okay. Chat, if you've read any of these books, let us know. So it is, clearly Hunger Games series. Familiar, obviously, in the way it is the backstory for Hamish Abernathy, the prequel. And but like, fuck President Snow, honestly. Like, this guy, clearly takes way too long for him to die. But Val, I think you'll love it, Val. It was really good. I'm glad to hear that it's on your TBR.
But it was I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. This book has been getting a little bit of buzz in the book talk world. I know it's kind of, and I know you were the one who pointed out that it's an older book.
Yeah, it was around 1991 or something.
Yeah. And I picked it off of someone's list that I follow on socials. And it's about a book of these women who are locked away and are guarded. And then all of a sudden one day they're just not being guarded anymore. And there's this one, the main character of the story has never known anything other than these women. Like, she doesn't remember before a time.
Could have been higher, but I ended up at number 4, and this was Lula Dean's Little Library of Banned Books, and it is by Kristen Miller. Once again, to like existential dread, like just really timely for everything that's going on south of the border with our friends down there. Very community centered, values driven for sure, and like the vibe for this book, the way I describe it, is like if Fuck Around and Find Out was a library.
Okay.
Yeah. Like just wild. So good. Really enjoyed the characters. Would highly recommend anyone.
It was 11/22/63 by Stephen King. So funny enough, we've talked about how I don't read Stephen King because of the trauma that I have from reading Gerald's Game. It involves some time traveling, beautiful characters that I just loved. Like, it was a really, really great story. And it may involve an assassination of some point in time. And if you know the significance of the date,
Literally a date game. I don't think that's a spoiler, Katelyn. I don't think it's a spoiler. Everyone knows it's a best. Yeah, it's on the cover.
It's on the cover. But yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it, and it's made me willing to give Mr. King a second chance. For certain books.
Okay. Actually was building this, I realized that like apparently I read memoirs when I'm tired of fiction lying to me, because like my number 3 is another memoir. Like 3 memoirs in my top 10 this year. Like that's pretty, I don't know. That's not normal for me. But 10 Steps to Nanette by Hannah Gadsby. If you don't know Hannah Gadsby, she is from Tasmania. She is a stand-up comedian, and I just love her. But I love her even more now that I have read this. I did listen to it as an audiobook. It was wonderful, really raw, a lot of like self-reflection, and I definitely there were times I listened to this a lot in my last job. I had about a 35-minute commute, and I listened to a lot of audiobooks during my drive, and this was one of the ones. And let me tell you, like, there were times I was laughing out loud, and like I would get to work and I would sit in the parking lot and not want to finish. I would like want to end at like a point where it made sense.
Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. I've also gotten into reading a few of his books, and I loved this one. I've actually recommended this to a couple people since reading it, and anybody that has read it based on my recommendation has loved it. Again, another thriller, and it has so many twists and turns, and it was just I couldn't put it down. Like, it stuck with me for a good long time. And like I said, I've recommended it to several people when they're like, "Oh, I need a book to read." I'm like, Kill for Me, Kill for You. Like,
my number 2 was Say Nothing by Patrick Redden Keefe. And it is about the Troubles in Ireland. It is nonfiction written. He's written a few similar books on like heavy topics. He does a ton of research. He's a great journalist. It was devastating and like deeply human to hear how just the perspectives of both sides, and like they're specifically going in on the murder of one woman. I think my takeaway is like with what happened in Northern Ireland during the Troubles, like no easy answers, right? Like no easy villains. There were times I was reading that and I was like, fuck the Brits. And then there was times I was reading it and I was like, what the fuck is the IRA doing? This is crazy.
Okay, my number 2 was actually a memoir. It was my only memoir on the list. It was The Many Lives of Mama Love by Lara Love. And this is where, again, I feel like our interests, well, I wouldn't say interest, but like just the way we read, and what we look for in reading. Mama Love is the nickname that Lara Love ends up getting in her journey. She is a mother who becomes addicted to black tar heroin.
Oh.
And it's the story of her trying to get her back life on track. And it talks about the justice system. It talks about, and of course, she's in the States. It talks about what she needs to go through and how difficult it can be for someone who has lost a child
Mm.
through their choices and trying to get their life back on track and trying to get custody of their child again. It was, she actually really um, became popular and known when she appeared on Oprah. So I think the book was actually one of like Oprah's top reads.
I think it wasn't hard for me to pick this as my number one. But it was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Um, it was a this was a wild story. And I did listen to it on audiobook. And I am sure that if anyone saw me driving and listening to this book or walking and listening to this book, the like level of discomfort that was on my face while reading slash listening to this book was probably very apparent. Um, I know that it's a satire, or it's perceived as a satire, but like the tension in this book with how the FMC like is basically getting away with it is absolutely stressful. It was so stressful, and I have to say that, like, I think I was stressed the entire time I listened to this book, but it was so good. It was just so good. And I know this book's been on a number of people's lists over the last like 2 years. I think I've seen it in a lot of places. Once again, I didn't know a lot about it. It was one of those ones that I had on my TBR because I'd seen it posted and I got it through Libby and I was like, all right, let's go. Need to get through, some more books. But yeah, I was definitely the vibe is I was stressed the entire time I listened to Yellowface.
My number one was The Wedding People by Alison Especht. Don't know if I pronounced her last name right. And again, this is one that I know some people have loved it, some people have hated it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It starts out dark because our main character is struggling and making some choices that are not easy ones to make. But then it just she goes to this hotel with intentions of ending her life. And it happens to be at a hotel that a wedding is taking place. And you start meeting the characters from the wedding. And she gets brought into this world of wedding mayhem. And it's funny, it's touching. It's like, it's still a little dark, but I loved it every step.
Watching is fun, but chatting is better. Follow us on Twitch and join our live book discussions every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Atlantic.